for all of those iconic characters. And then you do what's called a clean pass, so to do like a clean plate, where it's essentially me doing Whistle While You Work to nobody.
Weird.
Rachel Zegler has insulted the white people again. This one, I'm sure, is going to go over great, given her movie opens in 24 hours and viral photos of completely empty theaters circling the internet. Now, again, just like with Captain Marvel, this is still a Disney movie, and it could still make $1 billion. It literally could. There's at least a chance of it. The negative press, it's whether or not it gets out to the normies, and I don't know if it's gonna. But I certainly am doing my part to tell people to go to that movie theater, buy some popcorn to support your local theater, and then walk out the door and go watch the original with your family, because Disney hates you. The star of this movie hates you. If you're a Trump supporter, she literally wished bad things to happen to you. And now a new article that wants you to feel bad for her is saying she has no friends in Hollywood and she's looking for sisterhood. Well, you reap what you sow, and it couldn't be happening to a more insufferable twat, in my opinion. Huge shout out, by the way. I'm pushing it hard today. We're launching our mega mixology book, which is a companion to our Tailgates for Trump summer grill guide and summer menu. It's a sole purpose to fund the new studio. I hope you'll pre-order it today. We have signed copies, regular copies. We have the Tailgates for Trump available too, all at thequartering.com/shop, shipping in late April. It's full of nearly 100 hilarious and delicious recipes. It's a great gift. Mother's Day is coming up. Father's Day is coming up. Friends at work, all that kind of stuff. We're trying to raise money to build a new studio this year so we can host people on site. Going to be doing some stuff with Scott Presser this Thursday, I think. So it'd be cool if you picked it up. Link in the description. Rachel Zegler slams white executives who asked her to prove her Latin heritage for West Side Story role. Isn't that interesting? Nobody asked her to prove that she was white to play Snow White. I mean, I'm not sure anybody's helping her with PR, but if they are, they're literally not her friend. Rachel Zegler claimed that, quote, whites asked her to prove her Latin heritage during the casting process for West Side Story. The actress whose latest role sees her star in Snow White opened up about being repeatedly questioned over identity ahead of landing the part in Steven Spielberg's 2021 role. So now she's out here playing victim and hitting us with the racism. There is confusion because they don't have a single ounce of Latin in my name, Zegler told Allure on Tuesday. When I was in the running for Maria on West Side Story, they kept calling to ask if I was legit. I remember thinking, do they want me to bring my abuelita in? I will bring her into the studio if you want to meet her. The 23-year-old, because it's just so hard to be Latino in America. Yeah. The 23-year-old said she was surprised to see, quote, a bunch of white executives, to have to prove your identity to them before she ultimately secured the role, which launched her to stardom in 2019. Well, first of all, you got the job, didn't you? Why drag him through the mud now? You got the job. What are you complaining about? Why are you being an insufferable twat even now when you got the job? I just don't understand what that's about. It's because these people always have to be the victim. And it's just always in this state of perpetual victimhood. So even after she got the role, now she's smearing Steven Spielberg and everyone at the movie that paid her for this money. You know, the idea that, they wanted to make sure you were Latino shouldn't bother you. What I'm curious about is why they didn't do the same thing for Snow White. Of course, now they put out this think piece. She's looking for sisterhood in Hollywood after Gal Gadot feud. Rachel Zegler is on a hunt of her very own girl gang. The Snow White star in a new interview that she hopes to find sisterhood in Hollywood and does not believe women in the industry need to see each other as rivals despite its competitive nature. How come all the men seem to be friends? I'm just saying. I'm not doing that. I'm just asking questions thing. I'm legitimately I'm just saying. All the men don't seem to have any problem whatsoever being friends in this industry. Right? It's just another fabricated, thing that she's got to overcome. Rachel Zegler's got to overcome everything, guys. We're often told that women have to be your competition, and I don't subscribe. Who are you told that by? Who's telling you that, by the way? Jamila Jamil is like a big sister to me. She's another big feminist, by the way. I love that she has no regrets about being outspoken and being a strong-willed and strong-minded. Her Shazam! Fury of the Gods co-star Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu have also played large roles in her career. They've been the keepers of all this, where I feel very held by them. Oh, she just needs your help. She's just such a delicate little flower, guys. Uh-oh. Snow White star Rachel Zegler hits out at white movie bosses after shocking requests. Okay. How's this all faring for the box office? Even Forbes, who literally ball washes for everything Disney, Forbes, who will artificially inflate, various films just to own the chuds. Let's see what it says. Snow White box office projections on the downslide for Rachel Zegler film. This was on the end of the day, March 17th. Projections for Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot's live-action version of Disney's Snow White have been sliding in the weeks ahead of the film, which is opening Friday. Based on the time-honored fairy tale we all know, Snow White, of course, has been the subject of several controversies in the past several years. As per Forbes reported, we already know about how she's an insufferable twat. We don't need that. We need the numbers. Of course, her F Donald Trump thing. Again, if you voted for Trump or you know anybody who voted for Trump that's going to see this movie, make sure you let them know. Disney will finally find out this weekend whether Snow White will be able to weather the multiple storms of controversy when the film opens up in more than 4,000 North American theaters. Long-led estimates of Snow White opening box office appeared promising in February, citing industry analytics from the firm Quorum that said February 7th that Snow White was tracking to make anywhere between 63 and 70 million in its first 3 days. That would probably put it on par for like 400 million, 500 million. I mean, probably at least touching, kissing, brushing up against breaking even, which is pathetic. Box Office Pro published an even more optimistic estimate in February when it reported that Snow White was tracking to make anywhere from 65 to 85 million domestically. Since then, the box office tracking for Snow White has been on the downslide. On February 27th, the Hollywood Reporter cited a leading Hollywood research firm that reported the film was tracking to make just 53 million in its opening weekend. As of Sunday, the Hollywood reported that Snow White was now tracking to make somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 56 million domestically for its first 3 days. Reports of Snow White's production budget are varying. Variety reported the film had a budget of $240 million before prints and advertising, while the box office tracker says it's $270 million before marketing spends. Considering that roughly half of what Disney sells tickets now to Snow White will go to theater owners, a general split applies that to most theaters. The path ahead for this studio one is going to be extremely rough. Remember, 270 before marketing. The rule of thumb in this industry is to double it for marketing. Double it! But maybe we don't double it. Maybe it doesn't get doubled, okay? Maybe you don't double the double. Let's say it's 1.5. Let's just say with marketing, the film cost $400 million, not including the massive reshoots that they had to do that nobody's talking about. That means it has to make $800 million just to break even. A feat that I'm telling you, as bad as the press around this film has been, it could happen. It legitimately could happen. It's still a Disney movie. It's still, it's still Disney. Parents still need 2 hours to away from their dang crying kids. They still need, there's a lot of things that still kind of lead to this movie still probably coasting. I would be shocked if it made less than 500 million, which still means it loses 200 million. But it's extremely unlikely that it makes less than 500 million. It's still a Disney movie. I saw a different box office projection. Here, MovieWeb. Snow White's disappointing box office weekend could be among Disney's worst live-action remakes. This says here, let's see what they're predicting. As Snow White looks to rewrite history at the box office, Rachel Zegler, who has received a major praise for her performance, revealed to Jimmy Kimmel that the Academy Award-winning director helped her land a role, blah, 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 blah. Do we have a prediction? Oh, here. Early reaction suggests that the latest live-action reimagining surpasses expectations, especially thanks to an inspired performance. However, according to the latest projections, Snow White is looking at a domestic debut between 45 and 55 million. So if it ends up on the low side of that, it's going to have an extremely uphill battle. Like if it ends up at just 45 million at the box office, boy, oh boy, I just don't see, I don't see it doing much in terms of doing anything other than, like a best case scenario of breaking even. I don't know. This is just more bad news for a terrible person. You just love to see it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you'll help me build my new studio and get a hilarious cookbook or two to enjoy. And at the link in the description, or you can just go to, of course, thequartering.com/shop to find that. There should be a top nav button by the time you see this. We'll talk to you again real soon.